Over the last few weeks, we've seen a rise in protests over the death of George Floyd. These protests started because of the frequent cases of police brutality against African Americans. And similar movements, such as the movement to stop climate change, look like they will never produce results. The number of protests continues to rise as more people, especially younger generations, get more involved. For most people, it is difficult to see the effects in the short term that these protests and these peaceful movements are having. However, the long-term developments that these movements are causing are remarkable. This movement is mostly led by younger generations such as Generation Z. This generation is composed from people who were born between 1995 and present. This is a generation that has never known a world without smartphones, a world without the internet, a world without TCA airport security. This generation will be interesting as it will be responsible for solving the problems of that world, such as climate change, inequality, and the rise of disruptive technologies. Young people are the most worried about the current state of the world, and the ones who are taking action. Although this generation makes up about a third of the world's population, they are far from being the most influential. The people who have enough influence to make a real impact are usually older and often wealthy. This group seldom believe in similar movements or is highly divided. Without the help of the most powerful people in the world, nothing can be done. Therefore, change will be slow. Young people need to find and learn different ways to accelerate growth and success of protests while staying calm and pacific. Staying peaceful is key. Non-violent resistance has been proven to be far more successful in creating long-term and meaningful change. Erica Chenoweth and Maria J. Stephan collected data on all violent and non-violent movement from 1900 to 2006. Chenoweth and Stephan studied and analyzed over 160 variables related to their success, number of participants, and a lot more variables. And they found that civil resistance campaigns often lead to longer term reforms and changes that bring about the democratization compared with violent campaigns. The non-violent campaigns tend to empower moderates and reformers within the ruling elites who gradually initiated changes and liberalized the polity. Not only are peaceful movements more successful and effective, but they also attract more people. If the very few powerful people in the world want to support a cause, massive and overwhelming social movement can. In her research, Erica Chenoweth also found that a surprisingly small proportion of people in the population guarantees a successful campaign. Just 3.5%. 3.5% might not sound like a lot, but that is several millions of people. Just in the US alone, Generation Z is about 85 million people. And 3.5% of Gen Z in the US would be about 3 million people. The enormous change they would cause would be long-lasting and efficient. 250,000 were the number of people who attended the March in Washington in 1963. And even more recently, the 2017 Women's March drew over 200,000 people. And if only 3.5% of the United States population, or 12 million people, organized and did something consistently, like mass non-corporation, for a year or two, real change would be achieved. Not only the number of people who take part is important, but the messaging goal of what the movement is trying to achieve is. According to the researchers Somyati Mazumber, he found that the message should resonate with more people than just the core supporters. This is especially important for groups that seek to persuade either indifferent supporters or those who still have to make up their minds. Security forces are also significant in the movement's success because they are often the agents of repression, and their actions influence how the movement might end up. If they repress protesters, the movement could become violent. And if it becomes violent, security forces would win. Security elites are the only one layer out of several elites that exist. There are other economics, political, business, and media elites, and they all support the status quo. It is only when these elites are disrupted into non-cooperation when protesters can be hopeful of change, and perhaps it could be the determining factor of the success of the movement. Future generations, especially Gen Z, will have an interesting future where many people will feel uncertain about the world and about the success of peaceful movements. Despair and violence might even arise. Younger generations need to remember that if they want to have a long-lasting impact, non-violence is key. Non-violence movement and not violent movements tend to be more effective and successful. Moreover, they attract more people, and a great number of people are needed to solve an issue like a racial issue. Non-violence is an excellent way to attract people, especially the vast majority of people who are either unenthusiastic or those who have yet to make up their minds. Being peaceful does not mean you're complacent or that you support the status quo. It means that you resist and fight without doing harm. To end, I will end with this quote by John Lennon. He says that when it gets down to having to use violence, then you're playing the system's game. The establishment will irritate you, pull your beard, flick your face to make you fight. Because once they've got you violent, they know how to handle you. The only thing they don't know how to handle is non-violence and humor. John Lennon. Thank you so much. So before you go, I wanted to personally invite you to join to my newsletter where I write a weekly memo that I basically send to hundreds of people every single week about latest trends, new and interesting ideas that I'm learning in Curiosities, which is a section in my newsletter that you're going to love. Let's stay in touch, and I'll leave the link below so you can subscribe. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.